We are live from the Breck Brew Farmhouse, ready to talk some Nuggets. Hangover takes from last night's really exciting game. We're going to talk about the best lineup. Not an easy question. What's the best Denver Nuggets lineup this season? And where's the biggest room for growth? This is DNVR Nuggets. Oh, there it is. Man. The song just puts you in a good mood, doesn't it?
I know. It's put me in a good mood for 5 years.
That's so true. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use our code DNVR365 whenever you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. The fellas are down at the Breck Brew Farmhouse, one of our favorite places to be. And we have a spread of beers here. The good people brought us some beers. So throughout the show, we're going to progressively get drunker together. Helping me with that, a man who knows the task, knows the assignment, and is ready for it, Brendan Vogt.
Well, if you had told me that, I would have called out today, but fine. I'll drink if I have to, guys, I have to.
Take one for the team. And then the man with the win behind his hat, Harrison Wind.
Thanks for the Christmas ale kegs. I know they're for me. Just a stark reminder of a task that I have to do at some point.
At some point, man.
At some point it will happen one day.
Do you predict it will happen?
Yeah, it will happen.
What
are we waiting for?
We're waiting for the right time. It hasn't been the right time.
So if you don't know about the Breck Brew Farmhouse, it's down here off of Santa Fe. It's really cool. They have great food. Like, you think, okay, it's going to be bar food. It's elevated bar food.
Oh, that's right.
They've got like a real chef out back there really whipping up some good stuff. And then, of course, they have these great beers for us to try. We're going to do one per segment. We all have flights. When you come down here, like, you get all the Breck Brew beers at our bar, at bars around Denver. But when you come to the farmhouse, they have like these secret beers. They have these ones that are, they're these specialty ones. And so we're going to I think we should start low to high. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's start low to high.
Let's start low to high. So every segment
I have one hilarious beer that I can't wait for Brendan to see.
I have the Autumn Ale here. This one I've never had before. It's a little bit of a dark one. What do you have?
This is a Melba Tart.
I'm told Melba. I think that's like cranberry or something. It's like raspberry, cranberry combined together.
That's a tough start. But
Mine is so fresh, so queen.
So cool thing about that one is made by all female brewers.
Okay.
This is like a females brewer. They get together, made it. So this one is a ladies beer. Ladies made beer.
Thank you.
Ladies made beer. It's for everyone to enjoy.
Apparently not me.
Cheers. Let's try it out. Little
Cheers,
Autumn Ale.
fellas. Yeah.
Delicious. This is an English brown.
So this is a sour.
Okay.
You didn't tell me that beforehand.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, you were giving me the rundown on the beer. I thought you would.
All I knew was the backstory.
Give me the disclaimer that it's a sour.
Yeah, that is tough when you're not. When you don't know what's
English brown ale is
It's like
my
when
favorite.
you play the game water or vodka and you get vodka. You're like, whoa. I thought I might get water.
Oh, this is great.
How's yours?
Oh, it's delicious. I would say about Breck that they do a good job trying different flavor profiles, but they never lose beerness. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Beerness. It always feels the way you want a beer to feel.
I kind of want to try this one too, if you don't mind.
Mine was great, by the way.
We can do
I just downed that whole thing. That was great.
On today's show, we're going to talk about lineups. I'm actually pretty excited. Usually when we talk about lineups, we know what the lineups are. You know, it's like, what are we doing? We're talking about secondary. I honestly don't know what the Nuggets' best lineup is this year, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. But we're going to start, as we almost always do, with some hangover takes, Kale. We're getting drunk during hangover takes.
Hair of the dog.
A little hair of the dog here. Here's my first note I have for you guys that I think is underrated. I mean, that game was phenomenal. There's some days I go back and rewatching the games in chore. Very fun to go back and watch, especially the fourth quarter of this one, man.
Fourth quarter was good for a rewatch, and first quarter.
The other thing that's funny about watching games, like I do this for the Legler show, the All-NBA show a lot, where I'll know the outcome of a game, and then I'll watch it, and I'll be like, how does this team win?
Totally.
And that's how it was last night watching this one, down 10 with 5 minutes to go, and you're like, they win this game. I know that. But a big thing that I think is going under the radar, one of the reasons Denver was able to come back in this game is that they were in the bonus with 3 minutes and 55 seconds to go. And that has actually been a trend this year. The Denver Nuggets so far this season have been in the bonus the third most of anybody in the NBA. We know they're drawing fouls at a huge rate, but they get into the bonus. And I actually think Westbrook starting helps that a little bit because he's really good at drawing fouls. So you get into the bonus early, and then the Nuggets are great. A 119.6 offensive rating as a team when they're in the bonus. That's up 4 points from non-bonus minutes, which is quite a bit. And last night, there just were a few plays that would have been sideline out of bounds if you're not in the game that turned into free throws and automatic points. And it's just something that I've noticed this year, and I finally looked up the data to kind of back it up. They're 7th in points per possession when getting in the bonus and 3rd best at getting into the bonus.
Yeah. Nikola Jokic getting to the line more. Russell Westbrook adding him and just how often he gets to the line has helped too. But to go from worst to first in free throw attempts per game, that feels like it's more than just, a couple guys are getting to the line a little more and adding Russell Westbrook. I got to think this was like a point of emphasis for the team in terms of we just have to draw more fouls. We have to just get to the line more.
I mean, I think it's happening because I think the directive is attack the basket, right? I think it's just attack the rim in a way that we haven't seen a ton over the years. You know, Russell Westbrook can do it. Jamal Murray can do it. Christian Braun can do it right now. Mike can actually do it right now. AG. That's more guys, I think, on this roster than in past iterations really can do that, I think, consistently. And then the other thing, right, is this is their zag. As the league zigs, is more and more threes from everyone else. Denver, they're not playing that way. But it's not just a Jokic post-up. It's guys cutting, it's guys driving, even Jokic attacking off the move, off ball. And I just think it's putting the onus on the referees to make these decisions. And Westbrook's really, really good at that, of course.
See, I want to agree with you, but there's nothing in the eye test that's telling me what that point of emphasis would be, Wind. And if you look back, Jokic has always been one of the best foul drawers in the NBA, like top 20. You know, he's been really good at it, but he's not shooting fouls. They're on the ground. And I honestly think there's something, too. When he goes to shoot, he tries to avoid contact. You know, he's trying to get the finesse. He gets physical with you, but when it's time to score, he's trying to get, as Bam Adebayo said, buckets. He's not trying to get fouls. He's trying to get buckets. But he does, when you're off leverage or off balance, he tries to leverage that into fouls. And I think there is something, too. Westbrook draws fouls, and then Jokic capitalizes on them. And I think that is more than any other one thing, I honestly think that's a big part of it.
That's how Jokic eats at the free throw line, is through the bonus. You can't guard him in the bonus.
Another thing that stood out to me in my hangover takes is that the spacing didn't affect the clutch with Russ and Aaron Gordon on the court. Two very tough spacers. Of course, we saw Westbrook take that three with like 6 minutes to go. That did not go in. That was kind of the last – that was the beginning of the end, right? That was the last play before Denver kind of started to take over. But in the clutch, you're running that two-man game over and over again, and you have two complete non-factors on the court. Yes, it wasn't the greatest defense in the world, but Denver got to the spots they want to get to, more or less. It's a one-game sample size, so I'm not reading too much into it, but my broader take is I think the three-point thing and the spacing thing are very important but very overrated. Like, I think they've been blown out of proportion. When it gets down to the clutch, man, you're working with enough space to kind of make things happen, and you have guys – Westbrook had that great cut at the end from the corner. Jokic drops it off to him. Like, there's other ways to score than just pure spacing. I almost feel like the game has gotten reduced to its simplest form because it's easiest to get a team to be like, we just put shooters out there and now it works. But there's other ways to score, and I'm watching last night and how efficient they were in the clutch. It reinforces my confidence that part isn't that big of a deal.
This is what we liked about Denver as a potential playoff team, especially at the height of their powers, right? And so I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah. You just have to get to the clutch.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to get there with the game in the balance. You have to get there with a lead or a deficit that's manageable to come back with, in the last 5 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, also teams just run hot and cold too. Teams do stay hot from three for a whole game. Usually, you're gonna run hot and cold though. It's a make or miss league, as they say. So, the Nuggets, they're in a position with the math problem where they just have to kind of weather the storm throughout most of the game. And if they're in the lead, great. They're probably going to win that game because I don't think the spacing affects you as much in the clutch. You can still run two-man game, as we saw last night with Russell Westbrook out there. So you just have to get there, and then, those guys can go to work.
And get out to good starts, as you were just saying, so that you don't have to be perfect to get to crunch time.
So you can give up a 20-point lead.
But I mean, look,
preferably not. But
look, that part
that's
stunk.
okay after you built the 20-point lead.
That part stunk, but Denver was not behind the 8 ball for 80-90% of that game. So last night the Nuggets go to now, is it 9-0 when they win the first quarter and 7-0 when they win the first half in games? Admittedly, they blew that lead, but they gave themselves a little cushion. It was close enough going to crunch time, and a nice reminder that when you have Jokic on the floor, you're actually probably more likely to find a good shot than necessarily just 5 out good shooters. So this is Denver's bet that if they can get to crunch time, they don't need to worry about the math problem.
I have some notes on Strother, some notes on MPJ's defense that I think will come up a little bit as we get into some of these other topics today. Strother, just to kind of quickly hit it, he had 2 shots that I thought were really tough. One of them was the 3-pointer with 0 passes that was in the fourth quarter, and he's in a tough role where the Nuggets are counting on him to be this great offensive player. But plays like that, they're so meaningful. They're not just a miss. You're already behind the 8 ball. Nobody touched the ball. You were on offense for 4 seconds. And now you got to sprint back and get back. And just, to me, plays like that always stick out like a sore thumb, because if you're going to take it, you need to make it. And the Nuggets are telling him he needs to take it. So it's like one of these things where he's almost in a tight spot, because that play, cost him. It's a 5-point swing. You miss that shot, they get a fast break the other way in a critical moment. So Strother's the guy to me that the Nuggets are almost asking the most difficult thing you can ask a young player, which is you need to carry us on offense.
Yeah, you need to take these shots and make them, and if you don't, it's actually really bad.
It's actually not just a 0, it's a -2.
But be efficient, but be aggressive.
Right, and then, don't foul out on defense.
And look, he's settled in as a scorer. I mean,
a little bit. Last night was great.
I think he kind of has. I'm not saying he's like in a with compared to league average, a great offensive option off the bench. I'm saying where he's at in his career, I think he's a guy who can get you 12, 13 points right now off the bench, which is important. He was also, and these things can be really noisy, so I'm not just trying to be definitive here. He was also a -11, the lowest on the Nuggets last night, and he played a lot. So to your guys' points, the defense stuff is still so tough that if he's not hitting shots, it becomes really an anchor. But I understand that he needs to feel like I'm supposed to shoot this if I'm open. Look, Porter went through this in the Nuggets development. That's a tightrope walk, and it's not always as easy as it seems from the outside.
And then, Kale, this was the big story. Do you have the video of Jokic letting out a scream? I like this stuff because Jokic's pretty stoic. I mean, they won the title, takes his mouth guard out, walks around, there's no emotion. He can disguise it sometimes, but last night, and we don't have a monitor, I'm assuming we're playing it at the moment, but he let out a big scream at the end, kind of at the crowd almost, like kind of like like an F you to the crowd. And
shut up with all those cowbells.
That was actually really annoying.
He yelled really bad. He yelled
that should not be allowed. Like, the NBA's got to crack down on that.
Do you remember, was it the Spurs a few years back in the playoffs where there was somebody screaming so horribly?
I think it was the Spurs,
It was like the whole broadcast was just that scream. No, but look, man, Jokic the bellwether. What did he say after a very vibey win like 3 weeks ago? He's like, do you feel like the team's close? And he's like, not even a little bit. Like, he's honest about those things. But last night, letting out a scream means something to me. Like, because it meant something to him, I feel.
Well, that win streak mattered. And getting it to a real streak at 3 games. I was talking about this a bit with our guy, D-Line Co. Part of the reason why this year has felt even worse than it actually has gone is that Denver's successes and bright spots have been very patchy. Very, very patchy. Okay, here's a nice shorthanded win. By the way, Jamal's out, Aaron's out, and you're going to lose the next game to a bad team. So it's the ball rolling thing, I think, was really, really important. And so for whatever process stuff went poorly in blowing the lead, just getting that win and keeping what they've got going is really, really important. And I feel like everyone involved knew that. In the clutch last night, that felt like a very, very important moment in Denver season to me.
And it might have been a game, a week ago that they lose.
Right.
But they got up big, blew the lead, showed some mental toughness by coming back and weathering the storm, and then they won a close game. Down the stretch where Jamal made some big plays. They got a defensive stop on the last possession. Like, I just think Jokic was happy with, like, how the team overcame everything and how they finished.
Yeah.
And 3-0 is important, man. Like these streaks, I always say, when you look at the end of the year, how do you get to 55-plus wins, which is kind of the line for this team. They should get 55 should be the line. When you have Jokic on your team in his prime, 55 is the bottom.
Yeah.
Like that's the bottom you should be getting to. And right now, they're not on pace for it. But the way you get there is streaks. The way you get there is you have 3 or 4 throughout the year where you won 6 in a row, 7 in a row, and then you play the rest out like a really good team. And right now they're on a 3-game streak. They have some winnable games on the horizon. And I just feel like, we all felt like last night was a big moment. Murray was fantastic, man, in the clutch. He really was.
Unbelievable.
Just like it was a throwback game for him. And actually, let me give it one last take. We have to go to break.
I have one hangover take, too.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
Doug McDermott?
Yeah.
Can we trade for him?
I know.
He doesn't miss. I mean, that is a shooter.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Peyton Watson's freestyle possession, too, where Murray and Jordan are imploring him to swing the ball, and Strother's in the other corner, and literally 2 guys, the 2 vets on the floor saying, move it, and Peyton shakes them off and drives and shoots that air ball. That was just something I took a note of.
Doug McDermott, laser.
He's a laser.
Absolute laser.
I'll give this take here before we go to break, but because it's kind of like this armchair psychology, right? I got an email from a guy one day claiming, I can't remember if he was claiming to be a psychologist or had spoken to it. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. But he was talking about how he believes Jamal there's this like certain type of, I guess you would call it trauma, although that's probably doing a little work, where people are just really hyper-focuses under chaos for certain reasons. And I honestly think Jamal might be it, man. Awful all game. All of a sudden, it's like there's no wiggle room, and he's just locked in. Swishes. Not like, oh, man, he got a big lucky one here, kind of got a good bounce on that one. It's just like, it's almost like he needs, we talk about it all the time, but even playing as horrible as he played in the playoffs, 2-game winners in the clutch that were pure, tough shots. And I'm just officially buying it, that there is something to do. And he was talking about there's like trauma victims who then like in high intensity situations, they thrive, different things like that. And I'm like, I think Murray actually does have this. I'm a believer.
Yeah, I mean, his career backs that up. Highest pressure moments, nobody's cooler.
You remember this? What was that movie, Hurt Locker? I think there's like a little bit of this going on where the guy just had
Shutter
to be.
Island?
Not Shutter Island.
Okay.
You remember Hurt Locker because he diffuses bombs or something, and it's like the most high-stress job. But then he gets to a point where he has to be doing it.
I have thoughts. We should probably hit the break, though.
All right, we'll hit a break. On the other side, we'll drink another beer. We'll start talking about lineups.
Guys, shout out to Game Time. If you need tickets for concert shows, sporting events, you got to hit up Game Time. That's where we go for our tickets. Game Time, you can get, seat views right there on the app. You can see how, the concert's going to look from exactly where you're sitting. They've got all-in pricing, so you see how everything's going to look, with the fees and stuff. You can download the Game Time app right now, create an account, use code DNVR, $20 off. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but create an account with Game Time. Use code DNVR. You get $20 off. Get tickets for this Suns game coming up. Next home game, I believe, is the Suns, the one before Christmas Day. Download Game Time today. Seat views, all-in pricing. They have a lowest price guarantee as well. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference on that lowest price guarantee. And they also have Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Use the code DNVR, $20 off. What time is it? Game Time.
Game Time.
Hello? Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm hearing that it's the season to switch to Verizon. Right now, you can get a $200 Verizon gift card when you switch and purchase I do have Verizon, so it really works. Select phone on select unlimited
Yeah, I got
plans.
full bars right here.
Yeah, dude, full bars. And we're out here, bro. So Verizon's where it's at. Start the holidays off right with a great network. Use that gift card to start checking other great tech gifts off your list, like smart watches, tablets, headphones, and more. Get the 5G network that powers your day. From calling mom before takeoff to streaming jams while in traffic jams, Verizon's got you covered with their award-winning network performance. Switch now and get that $200 gift card only at Verizon. $200 Verizon e-gift card sent within 8 weeks. Requires device payment purchase. Minimum retail price of $799.99. And poured in with new smartphone line on postpaid Unlimited Plus or Unlimited plan required.
We back?
We're back.
All righty, here's segment 2. Throw us a like if you're enjoying the show. It's segment 2, fellas, which means time to sip on a new
Let's do it.
brewery here. I've got a mean one here. This is a Grinch-themed beer. That's what I have, is a Grinch-themed beer. which I kind of love, man.
Just the season. I have the Melba tart, the one that Vo just had.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's really good.
I got the Craisin.
Craison. All right, cheers to everybody here. The Grinch.
That is good.
Oh, yeah, that one's delicious.
Yep.
This is not a sour. This is a regular beer.
I'm happy for you, Harrison.
Thank you. I'm happy as well.
So tasty, man. I love a flight of anything, man. I like tapas.
Dude, I'm the same way.
I'd rather have like 20 mini meals, like 100%. A bunch of little things, 20 little mini drinks.
I was at a undisclosed bar because they have not paid for a mention. And I went to get some Breckenridge bourbon, the Breck bourbon, which is really good. So I was satisfied, but I wanted a flight. They don't do flights. And I just thought, what are you doing, man?
Get out of here. Did you want to finish off your thoughts on Murray's hyper-focusing under stress?
Last night, as much as the Nuggets have been in the right direction here for 3 games, to call that back against the wall for Murray is an understatement. If you've really been tracking from the Denver, from the local, from the inside perspective, tracking the Murray story, tracking his season, when it got to 6 of 21, after he missed the first 2 shots to start the fourth quarter, maybe this was just me crafting narratives in my head, watching alone, but I was thinking, is this it, man? Is this his rock bottom? Can he do this?
I love that it only takes Yoke 2 games, and we're like, what? Because it's so rare.
Not Yoke, sorry.
Murray. For Jamal.
Murray. I'm talking about Jamal, and then he really, I think, it's not back against the wall. His heels were dangling off the ledge. He had no room left to retreat. 6 of 21, and then he goes 5 of 5, 15 points to close out that game. And those looked like Murray buckets, too. Not just, the shot fell. It was, that's right. They have a second-best player, a true second-best player.
How did he get no separation all game, and then with a minute left, he can just get off any shot he wants?
That's behind the back.
Oh, my God. So clean.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
to be honest with you, Jamal doesn't always create a ton of separation. He does have more than what he gets, but the moves he got were just one, he kind of gave a little chicken wing, but it was late in the game. They're going to allow that to, especially last night when it was a wrestling match. But it's almost like he doesn't get that much separation. He just gets enough to fall away and hit his jumper. And
the game winner was not.
Yeah, it wasn't that
himself open. He just hit a Murray shot, and it was good the moment it left his hands.
We look at lineups, so now it gets compelling because the Nuggets have always just had a starting lineup, and then you're just talking about secondary lineups. But you knew how you would start, you knew how you'd close. Last night, we get Westbrook there alongside Murray, a very interesting lineup. They've played 34 minutes this year. I'm going out of order here, Kale, just to screw with you. Actually, we can go in order if you want. I was just setting the table.
You tell him what to do, Kale.
I think it was just the second time that we saw that because I believe – actually, I think it's only the second game we've seen that lineup appear in. But if we go to the main lineup here this year, obviously it's with Christian Braun and then the 4 core starters. They've played 181 minutes so far. They have a 124.2 offensive rating. First of all, can we appreciate this? Those aren't normal numbers for a lineup.
It's still true, man.
You know what I mean? We're just going to gloss over.
They still got it.
Just gloss over the fact that they have a 124.2 offensive rating, a 111.3 defensive rating, which is again above average. I still think that if you want to look at a number that you want to get more hope in the Nuggets, they can be better defensively with that lineup there.
That part of it is they're worse defensively, the starters this year than last year.
Yeah. Although the number plus 13 net, I think, is right in line.
Because I think they're a little better offensively so far on paper.
And so I look at that and I go, all right, default setting. That's the default setting. It's a really good lineup. Everything else. And when you get to the playoffs, your core lineup is really going to be the most important one. And I just feel good about a plus 13 net at this point in the season.
The starters are so great, actually. Whether they're the best starting lineup in basketball, I don't
think they are anymore.
Yep. And I think up for a debate that you might even lose. But they're still really good. And sneaky part of the season is how few times we've seen them, not minutes, but times that they've been together to start a game. Mm-hmm. So that's
a lot of injuries.
And I think that's maybe kind of kept us from seeing it as blatantly as it actually is, which is that the starters are still really good. I mean, I'm sure you guys heard the stat about how many points the Kings starter scored last night. And it was a lot. Mm-hmm. And you go through the plus minuses again for Denver. Every starter, they still cruise in those minutes, so long as there's not something going on, So I mean, that starting lineup to me still their best lineup, and still one of the better lineups in the league.
Was the Nuggets starting lineup very good with Christian Braun in place of KCP, or did we not get enough minutes to really know that last year?
That's the lineup. Last year, yeah, we didn't see it. It was right. It was it was hardly. It was half the minutes came in the playoffs.
Right, in that Minnesota game 7.
6
or maybe
7,
6.
I think both of them, yeah.
So, I mean, we know the Stars are good. We know the Stars are good. The fact that they're good with Westbrook in that spot, too, that gives the Nuggets 2 potentially elite lineups. That's one more than they had last year. Because last year it was just the starters.
Yeah.
That was really it.
I mean, you could put some staggered lineups because really, if you have like Jokic and AG and Murray, there's other players you could put in there.
But they never went to those,
They went to them a little bit, but the point still remains that we're talking about drastic differences. Usually you're talking about replacing the 5th most important offensive player with another guy that's going to be the 5th most. With Westbrook, it is different. You're changing the personality of a lineup. The second most used lineup, though, this year, you would never guess it, Murray, Jokic, Porter, CB, and Peyton Watson, because so much time has been missed from Aaron Gordon that Peyton Watson's been there. And what do you guys know? In 144 minutes, this lineup has a 130 offensive rating, which is insane. A 116.8 defensive rating, which is bad. 116.8 is pretty bad, actually.
But they're
at plus 13.3 net, which is kind of insane as well. So the starting lineup, yes, and I think we all agree that if you're going to win a title, Aaron Gordon at that power forward spot is just different than Peyton Watson. The defense matters. But they have scored the hell out of the ball with that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, any lineup with Nikola Jokic, just like pencil in 120 or 130.
Yeah. 130, though, 130.1 on 144 minutes, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
It's also a nice reminder of what Peyton Watson's season's going to be like. Like everyone else, there's 2 sets of data. The minutes with Jokic, the minutes without Jokic. And we will see some of the blemishes, the incompleteness to his game when he plays with the bench. And frankly, I did not think he played very well last night. But these numbers, as we saw in the spot starts, man, when he's next to Jokic and company, he's a great fit on this team.
Also, his offense just looks so good.
It does.
You're like, oh, man, Peyton Watson, that ceiling on offense is crazy high.
Well, that's part of it because there are these points in between the cracks, right? As opposed to on the second unit where he goes, should I swing the ball or should I cook? And when you play with Jokic, it's not about cooking. It's about letting him gift wrap buckets for you.
The third lineup that we're going to look at, neither Murray nor Gordon, because they were both out together for a long time, so our third most minutes, 62 minutes. When you get below 100 minutes, I'm going to say all these little chopping up, the sample sizes are really small, so you should always take them with a grain of salt. But 62 minutes with Westbrook, Christian Braun, Michael Porter, Peyton Watson, and Nikola Jokic. This one's a little more alarming. 62 minutes, 116.7 offensive rating. For a Jokic lineup, that's horrible. 127.9 defensive rating. For anybody on earth, that's horrible. And then a negative 11.3 net rating. I don't know if there's a whole lot to read into this because that's just not a common. When we talk about stagger lineups and what have you, my opinion is that Aaron Gordon, obviously is able to elevate a lot of this, but you start to put CB, P-Watt, and Westbrook together, it's going to struggle.
Yeah.
You're over the limit now.
Right. You're over the limit on not shooters and just guys who can get a bucket for you. And the Nuggets don't have many of those guys to begin with.
And we've seen 62 minutes of this lineup because of the missed time to Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. My point being, I don't think this is a lineup you're trying to get to so much as it's one you've had to run.
You've had to run it. But it's at least worth noting that they have 62 minutes with that lineup, but it hasn't worked. The next one, Westbrook, Christian Braun, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. So this is Westbrook and Jamal Murray's spot. They've played 60 minutes here. 132 offensive rating.
Wow.
90 defensive rating.
Wow.
32.9 net rating.
And
this
undefeated.
Is not enough minutes and undefeated. This is not nearly enough minutes, but it is wild to me and very meaningful and eye-opening that Westbrook in Murray's spot makes them significantly better, at least on small. I want this number to get up to like 200 before I really make an assessment. This is way too few sample size, but man, early returns are incredible.
Russell Westbrook's defense has been unbelievable. It's been so good this year, man.
Man, did you guys... I'll keep it real, because I've done my best to watch Russ, but I'm not Westbrook FC, right? I haven't been locked in on his twilight years outside of the narratives. When Malone said at Media Day, he's a guy that we think can guard the other team's best player to close games,
Seemed crazy.
I winced. Yeah. Bro, I winced. Now I'm like, yeah, good call. Good observation. Man. He is a because he attacks the dribble, man. And he'll risk not being in perfect position to try to get you uncomfortable so you can't just walk into what you want. And even the fouls he commits, even if they seem ill-advised, they're the kind of fouls, I think, too, that makes the ball handler think, damn, dude, like, I can't just walk. Like,
yeah, you're like, chill.
Yeah,
man, chill.
You're going to just beat me up if I try to score. I mean, it's an element that Denver hasn't had a ton of. And also, guys, don't you think that Westbrook is playing the heck out of the Bruce Brown role on this team?
He kind of is like a super Bruce.
Yeah.
Because he could close for Jamal, or he could start or close for Jamal, start or close for Christian. You get down to the final 30 seconds, you've got a timeout, put him in there for Mike. He'll dive on the floor, make a steal.
Yeah, he'll talk shit
getting
to the crowd and to the opponent.
When he had that great defensive night in their most against the Clippers, he's in the crowd like I haven't seen since Bruce Brown, right? To punctuate the timeouts, to put exclamation points on every run. And to me, it's felt very, very similar to what Bruce brought.
Yeah. I think Westbrook's playing great, and I think the Nuggets are bringing out the best in Westbrook, too.
Yeah.
It's been exactly what we wanted, really, from that story, to be honest with you. All right, we have one more lineup to get to, and it is, of course, the starting lineup from last night. But we got to take a break. We'll get to that one on the other side.
Guys, shout out to Empire Today. Empire Today, they're the best floors in the business. Nobody beats them on quality, on service, and on speed. If you have any flooring needs, if you're redoing your floors, if you need, repairs, if you just have questions about your floors, hit up Empire today. I didn't mean to do that.
It was great.
EmpireToday.com/DNVR. Their philosophy is simple. Help you find what you need. Don't overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. They have a virtual floor designer, which is a great way to see how new floors look in any space. Really easy to use on their website. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. You can get a $350 discount as well when you use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details. Empire Today. They are the best in the business. They are the go-to floors. They treat you right as well. They're not going to try to rip you off or anything. They care about you as a customer. Empire Today. Hit them up.
I think it's so awesome that we have the best roofers and the best floors in the business. Mm-hmm. Do people make walls specifically? Whatever. We'll talk about it later. Guys, we're live on location today. What location, might you ask? Well, you should have been paying attention at the start of the show.
Don't yell at the audience.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. I got excited. If you know, you know. We're at Breckenridge Brewery's farmhouse and brewery location here in Littleton. I like to call it the Compound. It is a great location. Brought my very real girlfriend here today. When we rolled in, she went, "Oh, I didn't know it would be like this." And I feel like I agree, man. It's like huge. There's lots going on. They've got their concert summer series in the back. Plus, they've got all types of beers that are great. The holiday edition right now. They've got a beer for any occasion. Avalanche Amber Ales, Mile High City, Broncos Country Pale Ale, Fun Slingers, Good Company, Hard Seltzers. So much to enjoy. Just check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com. Tell it what you're looking for, and it'll tell you where to go. Again, check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a brew near you.
Alrighty, we are back. Let's get back into these lineups here. So now you have the Westbrook-Murray combo. And I would say that after watching last night, for the 2/3 of the game, 3/4 of the game, Westbrook was the point guard.
Oh, yeah.
I think in the clutch, Jamal was the point guard.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an interesting thing.
I loved that.
Westbrook-Murray is your backcourt, and then your front court, MPJ, Gordon, Jokic. 34 minutes. The numbers are not great on this one. I mean, it's only been really 2 games, as I mentioned. 127 offensive rating, 122.5 defensive rating, 4.5 net. And again, last night was the most we've seen it. And, of course, it included that incredible start, but it also included the collapse. So that's why those numbers are going to be a little bit lower. But nonetheless, forget the numbers because they're so small anyway. Eye test-wise, this one makes sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. So much so that I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they played 34 minutes. I want that number to be 200. This year, Michael Malone can't go into the playoffs like he did last year, where we don't know what the options are. We just are like, there's a default, that's who we are. Win or lose this way. I think the Nuggets need to know exactly what this lineup is in different scenarios at different moments. And while the numbers aren't great at the moment, I actually have a lot of faith that combo is a good combo.
Yeah, I have faith in the Murray-Westbrook combo, too. Westbrook's defense has been so good. That's a big reason I have faith in it. His offense has been a little even more contained than I thought it might be.
Yes.
I feel like he's buying into the Nuggets system a lot and just kind of tailoring his game to it a little bit. I'm becoming a believer in it. At the beginning of the season, I was not. especially when they played it off the bench with the second unit. Maybe that was because whoever they had at backup center wasn't working. Like it wasn't going to work with whoever that was and the guys around him. But those two with some other starters, sign me up. I'm almost all the way in.
The other thing I was thinking about it is it's your 4 best guys at getting the ball to Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Murray's very good at it. Westbrook's very good at it.
Westbrook might be the best I've seen in the Jokic era at it. I'm not even kidding.
And Murray got a lot better at it than people, because he is more of a scorer and he will try to cook. Murray can get the ball to Jokic. Even Porter, who's not a playmaker, can lob those over the top with ease.
Yeah, he has good entry passes.
Just because they're both tall, and Aaron Gordon understands the post. So those are the 4 guys that I think in that particular area complement the let's get the ball to Jokic here. Yeah. And unsurprisingly, that yields positive results.
So so now the question becomes, they've closed just a default setting with Christian Braun there. Mm-hmm. There is a part of me now that thinks that Michael Malone, and look, here's the one thing Michael Malone, in my opinion, has never been good at, and perhaps it's because the starting lineup has had more clarity. I don't think he's good at this. I don't think Michael Malone is good at adjusting game by game on who to play. Mark Dagnott, to me, is maybe the best in the NBA at this. He'll throw out some crazy Spoelstra is good at this. I don't know that Michael Malone would be in his comfort zone. It'd be a very interesting question to ask him perhaps tomorrow at practice. Just, can you keep the team together, keep everybody confident, but also just close with different lineups? Because I think Denver has 3 lineups that I'm very intrigued by. They have the standard starters. They have the Westbrook one there. And then they have even a Westbrook without Murray on the court. I know you're not going to close with that one too often, but it is a lineup you can just go to, maybe in the second quarter or third quarter a little bit more than you do. So that's my take, is that there are moments when I think Westbrook playing over Christian, and just in that combo, is something that should be explored.
Yeah, Malone's done that already once this year, and it didn't go well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
One game in particular that I think we all remember where he didn't play Christian Braun down the stretch.
And they lost.
And we hated it.
What game was it?
It was early on in the year, though. I feel like Westbrook has, really.
And most people wanted, Westbrook to close over Murray. I would have pushed back on that a little bit. I thought maybe just Christian Braun should have been over Westbrook, but I think usually with how the Nuggets roster is set up, it's pretty clear who needs to be on the floor at the end of games. Based on how a game is going, based on if they're up behind, there's not a lot of hard choices to make.
Yeah.
A lot of times Michael Malone will just kind of stick with what he knows, default with just the starters. That's usually what it is. But usually it's just pretty apparent, I feel like.
I agree. And then to me, it's the starters with some variable of, does Russ need to close for someone tonight and why?
Yeah.
But and that optionality, I think, is nice. I mean, like I said, it's Bruce Brown-esque. But the question is, I think with Westbrook at this stage in his career, is it also viable in the playoffs? And I think that's part of what you're getting out of. Let's get this data in, man. Let's make sure we know what it looks like going into that setting.
Well, one of the reasons I think it works is it's hard to get shooters on the court. But when you put Westbrook and Murray together, Murray becomes a spacer. He becomes a spot-up shooter, so it gives you a little bit more. And that's one reason I think it works. We forgot, by the way, at the top to do our beer for segment 3.
I can do it at the bottom.
So I have the Neapolitan Porter.
I do too.
No, you have the Christmas Ale.
No,
we swapped.
They swapped.
Was it? I thought it was the other one that we swapped.
No. That's your Christmas Ale, which
you stole the Neapolitan Porter from me.
I clearly asked. He said it was all right.
I didn't know it was the Neapolitan Porter.
And you have the So Fresh and So Queen.
I do.
That's the one that all
Fresh, So Queen.
It's a sour.
Rumor has it if you drink enough of that, you can't guard backdoor cuts.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the Christmas Ale. I know the Christmas Ale when I take a sip of it.
This might be my favorite one, Neapolitan Porter. It tastes like ice cream.
It's so good.
That is
it's
a sour.
Really good.
I love that beer.
Harrison, I see how this caught you off guard.
Right? Yeah, it's a little jarring.
You know, it has hints of chocolate, hints of vanilla, and maybe just a little hint of strawberry.
I hope none of those things are in it.
When Michael Porter gets 3 assists, it's now called a Neapolitan Porter.
It's a season average,
that actually is great.
Yeah.
And now, we just talk about room for upside. So those are lineups I think we all want to see a little bit more experimenting. Hey, first of all, can we just take a second to appreciate that we're 25 games into the season and we're asking for more Russ? This is great because this was one of those ones that could have broken either way. There's a world out there where we're like, oh my God, they got to trade him. They got to get off. And it's, like what the Lakers felt. But that hasn't been the case at all. He's fitting great. Him and Jokic have been incredible. So now we go to biggest room for upside. this year. I'll get the obvious one out of the way. Murray being better. We see what happens to the Nuggets when he's good in short stints. It's by far the number one thing that we're still waiting on is Murray being good. This team's going to really fly once that happens, if everything else is the same.
Yeah, it's the secret ingredient. And I have maintained all season that if Jamal Murray is just Jamal Murray, the rest of the pieces will fall into place quicker than we think. Yeah. It seems like the Nuggets are really far away, and in reality, they are. They're not at a championship level right now. They're not in the top tier championship contender right now. They still have multiple steps to take to get there. But the first step feels like Jamal Murray just looking like Jamal Murray. And then I really think everything falls into place very quickly, quicker than a lot of us think.
Last night's a great example. So we're hoping that they can find the right blend that they didn't have last year. You still want the two-man game to close games.
Yep.
You still want the two-man games to win playoff games. But can you do other stuff for 3 quarters? I think this team can. This guy cuts. This guy drives. Oh, Russ is on ball and Murray's an off-ball option. They are less predictable. So in that sense, they are harder to guard and that they are less predictable. Yeah. But you still want to see what you saw last night. You still need to go, oh, it's a close game. You just want to shoot threes. We've got these two guys, and it's a better dynamic. It's a better look. Not just the first time all season. When was the last time the two-man game looked like that in the clutch, man?
It's been so long, man.
It might have been since before the playoffs started last year.
It's been so long. That's why it was so nice, man.
The Lakers series, I think, was the last time
might have been
at some point in the Lakers series.
Even then,
Kel, do you want to try this?
I've had it.
It's so good.
Kel's like, buddy, I know.
Do you want to try it? Have you had a Neapolitan?
I know.
I would love to try the Neapolitan porter.
You got to try it. It tastes like chocolate. I'm telling you, it tastes like a piece of chocolate cake or something. It's so good.
Oh, it does. It's very chocolatey.
It's unbelievable. I'm so into this beer, man.
Oh, that's good.
The next question I had for you guys was, if you had to pick just one guy to get it, get over the hump and really get it, would you pick Peyton or Julian?
Oh, Peyton. Yeah, Peyton for sure.
For it just to click, and you're reaching the top level.
Definitely Peyton.
Reasonable. What about you?
I understand the Peyton answer. I kind of want to say it. For the sake of the show, I'll say the other thing. Malone seems hell-bent on it being strong.
He sure does.
Well, he's got nobody else to play.
Yeah.
There's no other guards on the roster.
I know, but it's just... I mean,
his next option is Jalen Pickett.
If he can give Julian 20 minutes, he's going to give Julian 20 minutes. I almost texted you the garbage time Jalen Pickett 3, the Clippers game. You know how the media seating, he got that angle?
Yeah.
Man.
Pure.
He and I both knew that was good when it left his hands. I don't remember what we were talking about. I think, so it is Peyton, but maybe you could argue Julian because Malone really wants it to be, and he's going to keep using him. Here's the thing. I like what Julian brings offensively. I like that he's willing to drive. I like that he plays hard. Defensively, it's really, really bad. And also, he needs, every 30 seconds he is on the floor. And I think that's got to stop.
The answer is, honestly, is both of them. And this is the entire Project Dynasty point is that CB, Julian, and Peyton are going to replace, some of the depth for years to come. So the answer is both of them. But for me, it's Peyton as well, because the one question I still have about this team, I just think that Jokic in the playoffs is going to be able to score against anybody, and the team will score because of him. Yeah. I'm not worried about the offense. There is better and worse versions of the Denver Nuggets offense for sure, and I hope they get to the better one. I don't know if they can guard. I really don't. When I watch teams like tonight's NBA Cup and I watch the Thunder, man.
Yeah, I'm having a watch party.
That's defense, man. That's defense, and when you see that, you're like, yeah, Denver at their best is not there.
No,
they're not there.
But Peyton represents a guy that at least has the talent to do it. Now the question is, can he really get it to where he's a zero-mistake guy? He's making all the hustle plays, and I honestly think his mind has been there. I am a little concerned with the fact that he only played 17 minutes last night, but they get the win. I will say, though, that's the thing to me is if Peyton just got it and was in the rotation, was a 25 minutes per game kind of guy, with no mistakes, I'd be like, Denver is flying now.
I am worried, and I just to be clear in my framing, I'm not trying to put all of this on him. This is sort of like how it's manifesting. You want everyone pulling the rope, right? And you want everyone pulling in the same direction. And I'm just, because of some of these hurdles between Peyton and his very best basketball right now, I hope the frustration doesn't get the better of him. Like last night, man, Jamal points, DeAndre point. This is 3 bench guys and the 2 veterans on the floor. And they point twice, and Peyton sees it. and Peyton tries to go between the legs, shake a guy, and he shoots an air ball. I don't want to put too much on. It's just,
I think that play, though, that you're talking about, because I remember it, and it was in the fourth quarter, and I think the play was that Hunter Tyson messed up the play, and Peyton was holding a grenade, and it was like...
Maybe.
And then he ISO'd and hit an air. He actually hit the side of their backboard, got it, and then missed a dunk.
Yeah, maybe. But to me, here's what I'm saying. It's not going to be as fair for Peyton this season.
It really isn't.
As it is
I really
for
believe
Christian
that.
and Julian. It's actually just not. That's what I'm saying. So some of this is the situation he's been put in. So I'm hoping he just takes all of that in stride and is sort of able to stay focused on what the best version of him on this team could be, because they're not going to be a very good defense for 4 quarters. Can they be a good to great defense for 5 minutes at a time? And Peyton is a big part of that.
Those are the things that I think can really get better. I mean, you talk about Aaron Gordon, by the way, is another guy that can get better. Aaron Gordon's been banged up a lot this year, and he's not playing at the top for him, and I think that's fine. Of all the guys, I look at him, and I'm like, hey, he shouldn't be peaking now. He should be...
His shooting numbers are still way up.
His three-point
we got
shot
to
is
give
way
a
up.
shout out to his shooting this year, man.
And maybe it all comes out in the wash, right? His three-point shooting goes down a little bit, but his impact inside goes up.
So. Also, last night, the impact inside was there.
46% from 3, 81% from the line.
81% from the line.
How long does that need to go on before you really believe it? The whole season?
Yeah, in the playoffs.
You got to see it in the playoffs.
I believe, though,
that's probably the right answer.
I'm buying him as a 75% free throw shooter right now, though.
Yeah, and I will say the last thing, and then we got to go to our last break, but the last thing for me is the conditioning. I do think the Nuggets were tired last night. I think part of it was Westbrook comes into the starting lineup, plays like a bat out of hell. They're all like, this is awesome, and then out of gas. And then they had to play 3 quarters like it was the fourth. And to me, that alone is like, it just shouldn't happen. I watch how hard the Oklahoma City Thunder play. Yes, they're young, but boy, do they fly around for 48 minutes. The Nuggets can get there. And when we talk about peaking too early, that's one of the things where you can peak too early. But I do think Denver, I'd love over the coming weeks to not feel like they're hitting that second, third quarter slump where it's like, man, they all have their hands on their knees. Happened last
Let's
night.
run some suicides.
Hey, it did start with the box out drills. So you joke, but box out drills, all of a sudden the team's playing well.
Yeah, let's
Back
get
to
some
basics.
old school coaching in here.
By the way, all the players were like, yeah, we've done that before. Like, we practice, guys.
Malone's the best at that.
He's so good. It's actually my new thing.
Jeff Van Gundy taught me this drill back in the day.
Follow up with the players.
It's called
is
a
my
box
new rule.
out drill.
Yeah.
You're right, though. I mean, Katie Wingy said it on the broadcast. I think they're tired right now, and they look tired, and it made me so mad. Like, how? You guys have had like a week and a half off. Anyway, I digress.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to round out the show by having our last beer and by talking about the new All-Star game. They fixed it, you guys.
Oh, they fixed it?
They fixed it.
Am I in it this year?
We'll find out.
They didn't fix it.
Shout out to our good friends over at Live Well.
Shout 'em out.
Live Well Cannabis. They strive to make cannabis accessible to all because they believe everyone deserves to live well. 25 convenient Colorado locations. 25 of them. Regardless of where you live, there is a Live Well conveniently located to you. They're super knowledgeable. They're super supportive as a staff. You walk into a Live Well, they will get you exactly what you came in there for. They'll help you find the best product for what your needs are. They proudly offer a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors' prices on eligible products. You can go to livewell.com, reserve your product there, and then pick up in store. When you do go in store, use the code DNVR25 to get our discount, 25% off one regular priced item. That's an awesome discount. 25% off one regular priced item with the code DNVR25. Check it out at LiveWell. Restrictions do apply.
What makes a great roof, fellas? I wouldn't know. I'm very short and I'm afraid of heights. But Red Hawk Roofing knows Denver's best roofers have joined the DNVR team. Quality materials, decades of experience, quick response time, Colorado's best estimators on contractors, huge Nuggets fans, huge DNVR supporters. That does make the small talk easier. They agree with you that Jokic is the best player alive.
Yep, that's what they think.
Free no obligation roof and property inspections, free in-depth photo reports for all inspections, and I want to emphasize that it's free for the inspections. They do not want to rip you off. That is something they can do in this industry. It is something some folks will try to do to you. That is not the way Red Hawk Roofing runs their business. So you should know that. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921. Tell them that DNVR sent you.
Back here, final segment, DNVR Nuggets. We're at the Breck Brew Farmhouse. It's already dark.
I know. It's pretty lame.
When I pictured myself coming here today, I didn't picture myself driving home in the dark, but here we are. Our last beer, I have the Holidale.
So do
Not
I.
the Christmas ale, the Holidale.
I have the Holidale, too.
And you have a Juicy Oasis.
Yeah, I'm falling behind, though.
So the Holidale is just the Christmas ale soaked in bourbon barrels, right?
I believe you're right. I believe you are correct.
That sounds awesome.
Whoa, Kale.
Do you want Juicy Oasis or you want Holidale? It's up to you.
I want Holidale.
I want
You want Holidale?
Holidale.
All right, here, take that one. We'll swatch. I'll do a
I'm drinking
Juicy
Holidale.
Oasis.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't mind that one. Salute.
This is like people,
Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is.
I know some people
There it is.
think we hate each other, but obviously we are all very close and we're great teammates. You know what I mean? We take care of each other. Cheers.
People
Cheers.
think we hate each other?
No, I made that up. Just
I was like, that's not the vibe.
Just
I
That's
to
get.
what you
That's my
think
point.
people think?
Wait, do people hate me?
no,
Is
no
that
one
what,
hates you.
hold on a second, Kale. Is that what what's going on? Kale says he doesn't know. He
Don't
shrugs.
look at the chat.
Don't look at the chat. This one's good, dude. What was it called? Juicy Oasis?
Is
I'm
it
a
good?
Juicy Oasis kind of
This
guy.
is unbelievable.
Yeah, Holidale. This is the type of beer you want when it's like negative 10 degrees and you don't have anything to do.
100%.
And you're watching maybe the NBA Cup and you're just going to drink until,
Cuphead over
the
here.
NBA Cup ends.
Diana, you're driving. Oh, by the way.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I love a fireplace, by the way. You were saying that cold day. I have
Yeah,
a fireplace.
that's the picture I'm
dude.
kind of trying to
A
paint here.
fireplace in the Colorado where
Right,
you have
with
like,
the
oh,
NBA Cup in the background.
It's so cozy, man.
Emirates,
It's so
NBA Cup.
I got some Emirates koozies just to theme
Some
the party
Emirates
out as
swag.
well. Yeah.
Guys, who do you think has the best odds on the team of joining Jokic at the All-Star game this year? If you were to take a guess. Participating in the All-Star game, of course, me.
All-Star activity?
No. All-Star
All-Star,
game. The
okay.
actual All-Star game.
I was about to go 40
Who are you
chess
going to
on
say
you.
if All-Star game?
I mean, it's Porter, but he's not going to get it.
Okay, you say MPJ.
Yeah, probably Porter.
I think you both are way off.
Of course you do.
I think you guys are way off. It's Jalen Pickett.
Oh, my God.
It's easily Jalen Pickett.
Wait, this is what he just asked about.
How?
Because the NBA has changed the All-Star game.
Oh, my God.
There's no longer two teams that are participating
Oh,
east-west.
I see what you did there.
There is now 4 teams participating, 3 of which are actual NBA All-Star teams, as you would expect, and 1, for some reason, is a G League All-Star, right? Like, is that what it is? Oh, no, it's Rising Star.
So you're
Oh,
actually
okay, so I'm
wrong.
actually
The
wrong.
correct
It's actually
answer-
Julian Strother.
Yeah,
It's
the
maybe
correct
Julian
answer is-
Strother.
Probably Julian Strother.
I guess he gets it.
Or
You have to be a first or second.
I think first or second year, yeah.
P.
you're right.
Watt?
It could be P. Watt or Julian Strother.
So
one of
probably
those two
P. Watt.
guys. Maybe. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? You're right. It is.
Technically his third year.
Wait, is he?
Yeah, second you start like playing.
Oh God, I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
So Adam Silver, who I actually
Look at Adam trying to get Jalen Pickett into the rundown
Well,
somehow.
thank God you're right, 'cause
That,
when
that
I-
was pretty. That was pretty slick. I'm
When
not
I,
gonna
when
lie.
I thought, when at first I thought it was a G League thing, where I'm like, get these guys out of here. I do not need to see LeBron James.
Hunter Tyson's
Jalen
like, wait,
Pickett.
last year I was
and
really good.
and the G League team has to wear those elf costumes too.
Dude, people were going, I love these. Come on, man.
No, I love them. I totally turned on it. I'm into
on.
it, man.
Dude, I think the G League is more of a demoralizing lifestyle than people realize.
I know. It's like go play in Rome.
You're going to be wearing these
Yeah,
tonight?
go play in Barcelona, please.
But here's how it works now. 24 NBA All-Star selections divided evenly into 3 teams. That's 8 for those of you that are bad at math.
Thank you.
And then there's a 4th team that is the Rising Stars champion. And they, for some reason, get to participate in this, which is better than the G League because at least like most years, like Wembanyama, I guess he'll probably be an All-Star.
Can I give you a counter?
Sure.
Do you know what the real motivation is to make people play hard at the All-Star game?
What's that?
Don't lose to the fucking
I
Rising
know.
Stars.
Don't lose to
know.
Jalen
Don't lose
Pickett.
to Jalen Pickett.
Yeah.
Not that he'll be there.
There's going to be honorary team managers. Candace Parker, she gets the Castro Rising Star. I love that's the Castro
She's
Rising
going to pick
Stars.
Jokic 7th.
Castro?
Castrol.
Oh,
Sorry,
Castro,
Castrol.
okay.
Castrol, right. And then Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny are going to be the coaches of the other teams. And they're
Never
gonna,
heard of them.
And they're going to draft the roster because everybody's so afraid.
Oh, we're back to the drafting.
Well, because players were drafting and then Yoke got left out.
The
And then
drafting was the only good part of the All-Star game.
But
Great.
players are afraid to do it. Maybe they're whatever. So now they make those guys, and I feel like those guys will crush it. I feel like they'll actually make
They're
that kind
also
of fun.
not going to take anybody on the Utah Jazz.
They don't even know
but they're also not afraid to make all of the jokes that were heavily implied.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because they were making the jokes in the first place.
That's a great point.
And so what happens is then you have 2 games, right? One is going to be All-Star versus All-Star. The other one, I guess, is going to be All-Star versus
Rising Star.
Rising Star. And then the winner goes on to face the winner, and then that's how your All-Star game is going to work. And it's going to work where it's the first team to get to 40 points, which is kind of low. Remember the All-Star game was like 200 to 188 or something? Now you have to win.
That's like a quarter.
Your All-Star experience can be over very quick if you don't
bring it.
This is so bad.
If you don't bring it.
This is so bad.
You know what? I'm just going to take a pot shot for no reason. Kevin Durant was saying that he hates it.
Yeah.
So just bring the old formula back. On the surface, great take. Guess who's responsible for not having that formula?
That's exactly the point, man. So here's the problem with Adam Silver. And it's where he is so different from David Stern. And maybe it's just me getting older that I now appreciate a guy I used to hate, David Stern. But I think now that I've seen the world through 2 different eyes, you can pick the one that works for the better. David Stern, the problem the NBA has across the board is players don't care.
They don't want to play. That's the problem.
Forget the All-Star game. Their guys don't want to play the regular season. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to participate in any part of this. They want to give fan service. No, they don't want to do that either. They don't want anything other than the money and the praise and the accolades that come with all of those things. And I'm being I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I mean more there's a line of what's acceptable in terms of, hey, you got to put in the effort and do the things that make this league what it is. And the All-Star game is a perfect example of that. We roll back the clock 40 years when it first was invented, and it was like, man, this is awesome. This is how fans get into it. There's stories. There's this type of stuff. And it's just totally become the most meaningless thing. So Adam Silver, rather than do what David Stern would do, which is be like, hey, I have power to do what I want, and I'm just going to fine you, or I'm going to suspend you, or I'm going to humiliate you, whatever I need to do to get people to care, because we're not changing what we are. You have to change who you are. Instead, Adam Silver goes, well, I can't tell anybody what to do. Yeah. I can't even call anybody out for anything. So I'm instead going to create this Rube Goldberg machine of incentives that somehow trick everyone into thinking. That's what the in-season tournament is.
Also, you can make the All-Star game.
Hey, this is just another tournament. This is the third tournament. Also, we have the NBA Cup, we have the play-in tournament, and now we have the All-Star tournament.
Yeah. Also use AI to make the All-Star game look like it's Gladiator 2.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Better be on a red court, too.
I hope
these
the courts
games better be played
atrocious.
on a blood red court.
Yeah. But it's Adam Silver. Adam Silver is just willing to do all of these little gimmicks things. And I will say on this one, I'm not a fan. But at the same time, it's the natural endpoint of the way this stuff goes. So
is this not sad? This is a little sad, man.
To me, it's very sad. But I hope it's sad in a way that the players one day just wake up and are like, "What did we do to ourselves?"
Totally. By the way, I don't think he is the reason for this, but also complicit in it. I mean, even Jokic, right? I think he goes to the All-Star game.
This is one of his flaws.
What am I supposed to do? Shoot a layup? It's like now, in his defense, maybe if everyone was playing a real game, there'd be more things for him to do, but. I without trying to sound too like I'm getting older as a sports fan, it is a little bit like, hey, it's on you guys, man. And the fandom thing, everyone's respect and adoration. People like to talk so much now about what players don't owe fans.
Yeah.
Fans don't owe players shit either, man. You have to earn it.
It's true.
You have to earn it.
Fans are just so forgiving because they're so desperate for the entertainment,
which I get. By the way,
they're taking advantage of that.
But there are some things where it's like you're not going to try hard in the All-Star game. You're going to miss some games this year. You're going to get on Twitter. You're going to tell fans they don't matter. On a certain point, then you can't also go
shut up and clap.
And then you go, why weren't you rooting for us in the Olympics? You know what I mean? There's a breaking point for all of this stuff that I think. Is without even making about one person or making it one person's fault, I do think this is where things go when so much money is involved, and that pride just takes a back seat to these insane financial practical realities.
Do you guys remember the time? I don't know if you were there when Kenneth Fareed was talking about how he's an Adonis and doesn't have anything common with the average human or something. It's just this thing where you're like,
cool, man. Yeah, awesome.
All right.
This All-Star game is, like I was saying, it's just kind of sad to me, man. It
is.
The NBA does not have an All-Star game. That's kind of depressing.
Do you remember back when you were in high school and you'd get a sub? maybe for a full week or something, you'd have a sub.
Yeah.
And the class is just like, no rules, we can do whatever.
You watch a movie, probably October Sky.
No, like you would think that there'd be something simple like a worksheet or something. Everyone would dick around and the teacher would lose their mind. So the next day they'd come in and have something more structured or something. And you're like, this is really on us. We did this to ourselves.
Like,
I feel like that's what this is.
I get it.
That's what the All-Star game, this new thing is. The athletes are like, I guess we probably shouldn't have openly disrespected the fans for all these times.
The thing is, they're not going to think that, though.
They're not?
No.
They're like,
they're not,
Silver's ruining our league. Yeah.
They're not. They're probably going to think this is too much, too.
Well, whatever. It's the All-Star game. I can't get too upset about it. Kale, we have some Super Chats, I'm told.
We do have some Super Chats.
Yes, we do.
Kale's getting on the mic here for these.
Well, I just have to read them.
That's so fun.
Oh, yeah, we can't see them.
That's a tough assignment if you watched last night's show.
Apparently.
I couldn't even make it through them.
Welcome to my world, buddy.
All right. I missed one last night, so I'm catching up on it.
Dude, what the heck,
I know.
man?
It's on me. This is from Josh Barnett.
You
from
missed
Down Under.
Josh Barnett Super Chat.
I know. Look, it's a big L.
Wow.
Josh, we're so sorry,
Josh,
man.
this will never happen
This will
again.
never happen again. No,
He said, my Yokmas wish was for D-Line to be happy, and by God, it came true. What very Murray Yokmas week for us Bo-Leavers. Fire up the bloody bacometer.
Well, it's a
Fired
great
up,
Super
man.
Chat.
So back.
Kale, you've got a great podcast voice.
That is a great
Thanks.
Super Chat.
Never put me on mic again.
Joke's on you, Josh. D-line's miserable.
Yeah.
Next one coming in from Sir
Regardless
Lobo
of what's-
92. Yesterday, D-Line used composed and Hunter Tyson in the same sentence. I disagree. He looks like he's fighting for his life whenever he's on the court.
I would disagree, too.
And not in a good way. Rooting for him, though.
Yeah. He's definitely not composed.
Composed is a funny word for him.
He's trying to fight everyone.
He kind of is, man. Like, I feel like Hunter Tyson's liable to just turn around and swing on somebody.
100%.
All right. This one is from Cedric Exquisite.
I've never
Going
heard
to
of
the
him.
final right now should be from Adam Don't Frown. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Cedric's getting a suite at the NBA Cup final.
Sweet.
Where's our invite, brother?
Yeah, what
Well, the
heck?
tickets are so cheap, the interest is so down that he's getting a suite.
This next one coming in from a completely different person, Mr. Exquisite Nugget. No, Adam. No wind. You're wrong. 8-ball is baby goat. Peace vote.
I said Peyton Watson for that question.
Like how I escaped that?
You said Strother,
I did.
but you thought Watson.
And then last one coming in from Big Honey. Speaking of the new All-Star format, why is the NBA so afraid to give us fans Team World versus Team USA? I think the players would love that as well.
You know who won't love it is Team USA players when they get their ass beat.
Oh, I love it.
They don't want to take that chance. I guarantee they do not want to risk losing to Team World
Giannis, Luka, Jokic.
because they would.
Who are your other starters right now? Team World? Giannis, Luka, Jokic.
Maybe Embiid if he
probably.
makes it. But
Well, depending on what country
SGA,
he wants to
right?
play for.
Embiid's on Team USA.
Yeah, he's on Team USA. SGA.
He's probably
SGA.
locked
SGA
into
for
Team USA.
sure.
Oh, that team's winning.
That's all your MVP candidates
That
right
team's
there.
winning. Yeah, that's probably it.
Team USA is like, we have an
Kevin
MVP
Durant's going to go
candidate.
crying to Adam Silver if he proposes
Jason
that. No,
Yeah.
you can't.
I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. All right.
Public humiliation.
It's so nice when we hear that soothing outro music. The little voice.
Another one in the books, boys.
Another one in the books. Come down to the Breck Brew Farmhouse. Let them know that DNVR told you to come down here. It's a really cool date night because the food is really good. You know, sometimes, you want to take the old lady to a bar or something. Nachos. They have some elevated foods here, man.
So
Yeah.
nice.
They
It's
have
good
some
stuff.
foods I can't even pronounce.
Do you want to try?
I did earlier to
what are
the
those
waitress. I
foods?
couldn't. I was like, what is this thing? Oh, it's a
Oh, I
creme
would-
fraiche. I was like, oh, okay.
Creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche.
There you go.
Yeah. Everybody come down here, and then you can try all these beers. I'm going to tell you right now, the Neapolitan Porter, by far my favorite.
It's
What was your
good.
favorite of your flight?
I can't keep track all of them.
The Holidale with what was it? Soaked in
Bourbon.
bourbon?
Bourbon casks.
That's
so
it.
good.
That tastes nice.
We are back again tomorrow, guys. You're not going to want to miss it. Hit the like button on the way out.